not everybody gets a fanfare, but you guys get one for joining me here today on my YouTube channel. Hey everyone, my name is Tom and welcome to a fun piano lesson. Today we're going to learn together how to play an Ecossaise. An Ecossaise is a Scottish style dance, normally in 2 beats in the bar, and it was very popular in the late 18th century, particularly with French and English people. Now this is a very popular one from a collection of pieces for beginners by that well-known composer Johann Wilhelm Hassler, and it's a cracking number. Lovely and bright, lovely scales and staccatos. So we're going to have a look now and see how we can learn this together. So let's take a look at the first line of the score, and we're going to take a look at a couple of things first of all before we get going. So first of all, I want you to notice that at the beginning that there is a C with a line through the middle of it. Now what this is a thing called cut common time. Now common time is the equivalent, a C, it's the equivalent to 4 beats in a bar, 4/4 time. You put a line down the middle and both those numbers get chopped in half into 2/2. So when you're counting this one, you don't go 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, because although it sounds the same, the counting isn't quite correct. In fact, if you actually clap along with it, look, maybe you guys could do this with me now, and clap, 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 clap. There's actually 2, isn't there? It feels like a 2. Da da dum ba ba bum ba ba bum da da dum. And of course, with dances, you know, you see these old films and they're going yum dum da dum ba da 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 da. They're clapping in 2s. So that's what C with a line through it means. It means cut common time, 2 beats in the bar. It also changes the way that we count the notes in the bar, the actual beats of the bar, but we'll explain that in a minute. The piece is in the key of G major. Okay, so there's our G key note. Here's our G scale. And when you start a piece, it's always a good idea to play the scale of the key you're going to be playing in. Play some G chords, play some other chords, C, D, do some broken chords, and kind of really saturate your brain with the sound of that G home note. We can see at the beginning of the piece of music that there are 2 treble clefs, one for the right hand stave and one for the left hand stave. This means at the beginning of this piece of music, you are not playing the left hand down here, you are playing it up here. So it's treble clef, but we'll have a look at that in a few moments. So remember that everybody, we've got 2 counts per bar. The key of the music is G major, that means we have to watch out for an F sharp. And there's 1 or 2 other sharps just thrown in for fun here and there, but mostly the only sharp you have to remember is F sharp. And it's a brilliant piece. So let's break it down and see how we start. And that first note, whoa, that is right up in the stratosphere, isn't it? So let's work out where we are. So we know where middle C is. I've got my little red dot here, look, for middle C. And we then have to go up to the next C. And then 2 lines above that, we've got da, 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 and there is the C on that second line. Okay, so the first little extra ledger line, so we're right at the beginning in that little pair of pickup notes would be A. So if we go C, E, G, B, D, F, A is the extra line, and then C at the top is the second line. And we're 1 above that on the D, almost off the camera, look at that, there I look. So here's middle C, so we're 1, 2 C's up, little finger on D. And this is how the melody goes. Oh dear, I've run out of fingers. So we need to work out some fingering there. The magic of this song comes from this guy here, finger 3. 1, 2, and that's 3. Okay, finger 3. So that's the finger we're going to be lifting up and moving in these little groups. Do you notice how the first group comes down D, C, B? And then there's a little wedge above the music. A wedge is the symbol that they used to use for staccato in this era. The staccato dot is the modern day example. So when you come down through those first 3 notes, instead of holding that B on, you cut it short. Like that, okay? And you can probably see all the way through that first line, there are these little groups with 3 notes in, a line over the top, and the last one has a scatter. So it's da-dum. Okay? Now we need to get the counting right at the beginning, but we'll concentrate that in a few moments. Let's just work our way through the notes. Okay, then I play the B again, down to the G. And here I need to change my finger to number 3. The 2 is going to go on the F sharp, the 1 on the E. Lift again, E, D, C. Let's lift again, C, B, A. Up the scale. Notice wedges on all those, so those 4 are all staccato. 1. And then smooth to A sharp, and then finish on the B. Okay? Now, that is important to really spend the time on that and get that articulation, we call that. Okay, so you see how that really makes that sound nice. But you must do it slowly. If you do it slowly, you'll be able to play it very easily, quickly, but do it slowly. Learn that very carefully. So here we go again. Look, top D, and now the counting. This is the important bit. When you count this piece, your crotchets are half a beat. Okay, your quavers are quarter beat. So you need to go 1 and 2 and. That's how you have to count it. It's a fairly slow pulse. 1, 2, 1, 2. Dum bum 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 ba da dum. And generally songs that are in 2, the tempo tends to be slower, but the music tends to move fairly briskly. Not always, but generally in these kind of dances and polkas and things. So at the beginning we've got these 2 pickup notes. These are called pickup notes because it's a bit like Happy Birthday. You know when you go that first bit, happy, that's not part of the song, it's called a pickup note. And we've got these 2 quavers here, so we go 1 and 2, and a 1 and a 2, and a 1 and a 2, and a 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. I can turn my hand there, look, 3, 2, 1, and you come off nice and short on the B. Now, I've got to reiterate myself again. You're probably thinking, Tom, you've already said this, but this is important. Make sure you really get that articulation. So let's go again from the beginning. Look, I'm coming right down my fingers. Look. Don't forget, when you finish a group, the next group starts on the note you've just finished on. So in other words, when I come down, look, B, B to G, G to E, E, D, C, C, B, A. So each time, look, 3, 3, and if you lift your hand up and change to 3 each time, you will make sure you get that repeating note. So here's the right hand of the first line. Let's count in 1 and 2. Go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and smooth and off. That's sounding really good, isn't it? Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, here's the second line. Ooh, a bit easy to read now, gang. We're down an octave lower. So we've started up on this D, and as most composers tend to do, they repeat themes. So here we are on D, look, and look at the articulation, look. Da da dum, da da dum, da da dum. That's almost the, well, it is the same actually, just an octave lower. And notice I'm coming off, look. Lift, 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 and again look, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, lift, 3, 2, 1, and then it would go down as it did in the original. But in this case, we're going to go jumping up to E, up an octave, look, scale, and then we're going to cross over the 3 to the F sharp with finger 2, put the thumb on the C, and play these guys together, change to 3 at the end, and then drop to B and G. So we'll take a look at that ending once more in a moment. But let's go from line 2 on my score. Okay. By the way, folks, if you'd like to get hold of this copy, my particular version came from freescores.com. So I'm going to put a link on my Patreon page to where you can get this from. But I've also done an annotated version of this score. So if you'd like to get that, you can sign up and support my channel via patron.com/Keyboard Skills Pro. And so you can download this score, and I put in the finger numbers, I put in some hints and tips. So if you'd like to download that, please do. So second line. And then when you do the staccato E, up to E, down the scale, over, 3, 2, and that's a short F sharp. 1, 2, 3, change your finger and finish. Okay. Could jump to 1 and 4 there if you wanted. And finish with 1 and 5. So that's the first 8 bars. Very nice. But as I say, do it slowly and make sure you learn the articulation. Now, let's now take a look at the left hand. I mentioned at the beginning that the left hand does not start with bass clef notation. This often throws piano players because they're not used to seeing a treble clef on the left hand. So, how does it work? Well, we find that note. What's the first note? So we've got treble clef. Let's have a look along. Well, the second bar, look, has got a middle C in it. So let's work it backwards, back to the first bar. One of the C's B, and then we're going down another space, so we jump over. So it's G under the middle C. Now, the melody of the left hand, or rather the notation of the left hand, then goes up, so we will start with finger 5. Now, notice these crotchets are not crotchets. They are, think of them like short minims. So they are 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? Now, what I'm doing there is playing on the beat. 1, 2, 1, 2. So first I'm going to start with 5, 3, 2, 1, over to, let's say, 2, 4, 1, off. Now, notice at the end there, this is another confusing thing, there's a tied G with a staccato, and what that just simply means is come off that with the same sharpness that the other hand is going to do, and we'll show that in a minute when we come to put this first section together. Okay, so once again, left hand. Now let's take a look at this point where our hands are going to go for a starting position, and look, it's what we call the G position. There we go. Look, normally G positions are like this, you know, and it just simply means your hands are in one place. It might be here, something like that. In this case, we are up here. So it's the G under middle C for the left hand, and then 2 G's above middle C for the right hand thumb, 5 fingers, and then you've got that D, look, just at the top of the screen. It is there, look, hello. Right there, okay. So that's our starting position. So 1, and let's play the first 3 notes this time with that first one to get our lead in. 1 and 2. Da da dum, da da dum, da da dum, da da dum, 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 dum. Hold and off. Okay, that's first line. Very easy. Nice and simple, playing on the beat. You're probably noticing that this is a good piece to learn hands apart. Some pieces you can learn straight away together. This one I would recommend, personally, playing it apart. At the end of the first line, we have a bass clef. And that means that our left hand is going to return to its normal notation. Let's take a look now at the second line. And there is the bottom line. And if I do my line rhyme, mine is great big dogs from Africa. Great big dogs from Africa, the 5 lines. The bottom line is the G. And this time it's not the G that we started on, it's the one underneath. Now we know that on the second line, the melody goes the same until that leap. So it's possibly reasonable to assume that the left hand will do the same thing for starters. Let's check it out. Here we go, second line, 1 and 2. Da, da, G, second line, B, C, and then is the change because our melody is changing. So we don't need that E that we had before. We're going to pop an A in, look. So we're going to go G, B, C, A, and that A, look, is a whole beat. It's not a 2-beat minim, that's a 1-beat minim. But you hold it down all the way through those quavers, Da, 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 da. And then when you come off that F sharp, we're going to pop our D in on our thumb, and then we're going to play 3 more Ds, and then down. So you can see that it's all about 5-finger hand positions a lot of the time. Okay, so once you're in those positions, you're able to play the things all from there. So that's the left hand. We've covered the first 2 lines of the left hand. We've also covered the first 2 lines of the right hand. Now in this video, I've got all the chapters set up. So if you want to go back and revise those 2 first, you'll next be able to join me with the hands together. Let's do that now. Hands together. Okay, so right back to the beginning. Now I know you're thinking, oh crikey, hang on, we've been doing this for, 17 minutes or so. Well, it doesn't matter, because the first 2 lines is like a lesson in itself almost. Maybe a couple of music lessons I would spend with a couple of my students to work that through before they probably had a good starting point of getting it slowly with hands together. The next 2 lines are not actually that difficult, which is really good, I think. But the next section is a little different, and then there's a repeat. So don't worry, we're going to catch up really quick. So let's have a look at this together then. Right, so what do we need? G position. So we're going to go middle C, little finger G underneath, and then middle C up 2 octaves, and then the G in the middle of those. There it is, look. G and D, G and D. Okay, now the magic word here is slowly, and make sure the articulation is included. The real important thing also is to count. Count slowly, but count confidently, and try and keep it going. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 1, and go. There you go. Sounded quite nice, didn't it? So let's talk that through. Counting in. 1, 2, 1, and go. Now, notice when I staccato at the end of my little group of 3, that is when the left hand plays on the beat, because that one is on the beat. So they always go together. Okay? 1 and 2. Plonk, plonk, lift, and down. So noticing like I'm focusing on my 3, and that for each little group works with its individual left hand note. So that's how you can sort of think of them in little blocks. 1 and 2. 2, 1, 2, over, hold, and off. So don't make that G short, look. Hold that on, off. As soon as you come off, you are in the right zone for your next hand position, look. And you stay there, look, on bar 5. But my hand can now just move down 1 octave down to the G down here. Start again, exactly the same, and 1, 2. Okay, and that's where it changes. Okay. And just a little lift, look. Kick your wrist, little lift off the keyboard. And then we're going to put our little finger on the E at the top. Come down with 2 notes over a rest. That gives our 4th finger a chance to get onto the A. Okay, and remember we have to cross over. So once you get to that A, look, you need to go 3 and then thumb on the D, 2 on the F sharp, off. You're going to come off nice and sharp there. Hold and off. And then you can keep the same 2 fingers. You can go 1 and 4 if you want to get there earlier, 1 and 3. Explore what you feel comfortable with. Just make sure you have 3 or 4 at the end ready for the move, okay? So 1, ta ta, hold the A, cross, chop, and then you want C, middle C and F sharp with D, and 2, and those 3 chords are all the same, look. This one goes down, this one goes up. harmonically they're doing this. It's literally saying the end. Okay, so we're going to play our Ds. All right, there we go. Let's play the whole thing through. G under middle C, G, 2 Gs up, thumb, D. 1 and 2. Over, step, 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 tap. Smooth and off, down. Hold, chop, 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 chop. Okay, look. He goes down, I'm going up, I'm going down. There we go. And that is the first part, both hands together. So again, don't forget, I'll put the chapters in, so you can look at the right hand part, look at the left hand part, and then look at the both hands together. Now, after that, we then come to this rather delicious middle bit that goes like this. Oh, isn't that delicious? I love that. It uses 2 chords, a D chord, and the tonic chord, G. Let me play with some chords though. Really pretty, really nice. So what's happening here then? Well, we've got a little nod to the first bit, look, okay? Now, when you start, don't put your thumb on a black note. It's not the done thing. Put your 2 on this F sharp and go up, look, instead of down. That was the first pattern, wasn't it? In the beginning. So he's reversing the pattern, he's going up. And you come off, nice and short. The reason for that staccato is it gives you a chance to move your hand. Now, once you've done that, you're going to want to put your 3rd finger on B, your 1st finger on D, and then play little pairs like this. 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 1 and 3, lift up, change to 3 and 5, and then finish on F sharp and A, staccato. Here we go again. 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 1 and lift, 5 and 3. So notice, look, I'm changing, look, putting the 3 on the bottom and introducing the 5. These guys are then ready for their finishing chord. Okay, that's the fingering there, okay? Play nice and smoothly, look. And then you lift. And then the next bit is the same pattern. Instead of F sharp, you start on G. So this time we start with our little finger, and this is a bit easier because we can use a 5-finger position, look. 2 and 4, 3 and 5, 2 and 4, lift and down. Now, you haven't actually got to change your fingers there if you don't want to. Come off on the end. Now, that again, practice that on its own. Okay, very, very nice. The left hand is going to be playing on some Ds down here. So we're going to go 1, 2, tickle up and down. Okay, so remember it like that. 1, 2, tickle up and down. All right, so how does that work with the other hand? Well, again, look, we've got on bar 10 in my copy this pickup from the F sharp. So we're going to go, we've just finished 1 and 2. And then you go to the F sharp, look, finger 2, da, da, dum. Come off nice and short, look. And then put this on the next beat, and then another D, and then tickle up and, or maybe tickle down and up, I should say. Da, dum. So that pair G and B look all go with the group of quavers, and those quavers got to sound 4 to the beat, so that they almost sound like semi-quavers. You got to think it was 4 quarters, not 4 halves. Okay, ta, ta, 1 E and a 2. Okay, and short at the end. And then we move up both hands to G and G. Same pattern, just G's this time. Smooth. Okay, da da dum, da da da, and then tickle to the F sharp, tickle down and up, and it gets holding look. There we go, whole line again. So thumb there. 5 and 3, off. That's fun, isn't it? Isn't that lovely how you get... And of course that holding note, those holding chords, that's called a suspension. Amen, amen. It's holding, and it's the holding that makes it sound like, oh, I'm going to hold, and drops into place. And that's what the last chord does. The very last line is really easy because it's the same as line 2. Hold over, dum. So there you go. You've already learnt line 4 by learning line 2. There we go, gang. I hope you've enjoyed that little 25-30 minute piano lesson on Johann Hassler's Ecossaise. That's from a collection of pieces called 50 Pieces for Beginners, Opus 38, number 23, and that is the one in G major. It's a lovely little number. I'll put all the details in the video below. And like I say, if you can find that in obviously copies. I got my copy off freescores.com, and as I say, I've put an annotated version of that on my Patreon piano. Patreon's all about supporting YouTube channels like mine. I give you lessons for free, and if you would like to support me with my equipment and cameras and subscriptions and all that stuff, software, you can do that by signing up to patreon.com/keyboard skills pro. If you sign up for silver level or above, you get access to the bonus scores and also bonus lessons as well. So there's lots to see on there, and also video content that's not available anywhere else. So I will finish off with one more playthrough, everybody. Thanks ever so much for watching. Do hit that subscribe button, share the video around, and maybe on some of your piano Facebook groups or something. And I'll leave you with Hassler's Ecossaise. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Bye-bye.